The Spore of Moander here is a great creature to drop into a story or a campaign about the corruption of nature. It's not going to be the big bad itself, but it is the portent of the big bad to spoiler. If you want to tell a nature-based story with druids and forests and corruption, the Spore of Moander is perfect. But I also want to point you to the Field Guide to Floral Dragons, which I made a video about several months ago there in the corner. It gives you a wealth of creatures and ideas to flesh out a really interesting nature-based campaign. It was a finalist at the Ennies for Best Monster, Best Aid Accessory for the mini sets, and Product of the Year, and it won the Silver Ennie for Best Interior Art for artist Ken Wald. It was nominated for Best Role-Playing Supplement of the Year at the Origin Awards. So if it's the kind of story that you want to tell, this nature-based idea, you've got a big head start with the Field Guide to Floral Dragons from our sponsor Hit Point Press, plus those minis that are associated with this, and this. So with thanks to WizKids for sending it my way to review, let's take a look at the Spore of Moander. The Spore of Moander is a huge rotting mass of vegetation infused with the lingering divine power of Moander, a dead god associated with corruption and decay. These guys appear in places on the material plane where Moander's influence still survives, particularly ancient forests, primordial swamps, isolated lagoons that have been touched by abyssal evil, and Golden Corral salad bars. The spores aren't really intelligent creatures with plans of their own. Their purpose is simply to spread death and corruption wherever they go. But cultists of Moander regard them as something much more significant, believing that each spore is essentially a little window into the mind of their dead god. For them, if a Spore of Moander has appeared somewhere, it suggests that something much older and darker may be stirring nearby. Mechanically, this is a CR12 bruiser built around grabbing creatures and pulling them into its body. It has an AC of 19 and 230 hit points, along with a substantial list of resistances and immunities. Its 4 tendril attacks have a 20-foot reach each, and they deal piercing and acid damage, and they can pull targets toward it to consume them. A nearby large or smaller creature that fails the DC 18 strength save is dragged inside the spore, becoming grappled, blinded, and restrained while taking 5d6 acid damage at the end of each of the spore's turns. Even worse, the spore can carry one large creature or as many as 9 medium or smaller creatures inside it simultaneously. So you can have your own little tea party inside of there. So your party might think, what about fire? The spore itself is immune to fire, but whenever it takes fire damage, its explosive core ability does a little bit of fire damage to creatures immediately around it. For a campaign, the Spore of Moander works especially well as a centerpiece of a corrupted wilderness story. Animals disappear, vegetation begins rotting while still alive, and strange fungal growths spread outward from an ancient ruin or a forgotten shrine. The characters might initially believe that the spore itself is a problem, only to discover that it is actually a symptom of something even larger. There's a cult attempting to restore Moander, or a dormant fragment of divine power awakening beneath the region, or multiple spores beginning to emerge across the countryside. The Spore of Moander is available now for between $44 and $50, and the unpainted version is about $10 cheaper. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section down below, and check out my video for the Field Guide to Floral Dragons to see if it is a good fit for your table. We've got lots of new minis to look forward to this month, so be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss anything. But for now, please stay safe, have fun, love each other, and I'll see you next time at the Gallant Goblin.